Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ringside Review.
Hello, hello.
The only professional wrestling podcast in the history of mankind. Go ahead and
Have
look,
a nice
I dare
day.
you. I'm joined today, as ever, by my co-host, the second least liked guy from Pensacola, Florida, Mr. Seth Holbrook.
Hello, everybody. And with me, as always, is the Ayatollah of I Told You So, Mike McBride.
Thank you very much, Seth.
Absolutely. Yo.
It's been quite an eventful couple of days.
Oh, God, yes.
But before we get to that, I want to remind everybody that we have a special guest in the house. Mr. B from Total Championship Wrestling is going to be with us here in just a little bit. So we don't want to waste too much time. We want to get right to our review.
Yes, we do.
Seth.
Yo.
We're going to start with Elimination Chamber. Elimination Chamber was last night.
Yeah.
Overall, what do you give the show?
Man, overall, I gave it maybe out of a 10. Let's see, 10. I would probably say a 6 or 7.
That good.
Well, it was starting out great. It was very, the show was progressing, but then towards that last hour and the final outcome of the main event, it went downhill.
Well, I want to say the ladies did a better job than I thought they were going to.
Yes, I think
that's not a slight against the ladies. It's
no,
just,
they had a better match and they had better spots than.
I thought the men's match was okay. I've
match.
seen they were trying to put it over as being the greatest Elimination Chamber match
whatever.
ever. It
It
really,
was just
well,
it was a glorified squash match
I'm trying to think. I think
of Braun Strowman eliminating everybody except for the last 5 minutes, and it's Roman, and boom, WrestleMania.
I'm trying to think of what the best Elimination Chamber match would be. It's so hard. There have been some good ones. I think the one in 2011 with John Morrison and Cena, and that was pretty good.
When John Morrison was in it, you know he wasn't going to win it, but he always had the best spots. He always had the best spots.
That's the story of John Morrison's whole career. Is always knew he wasn't going to win it.
But it was so good that he was in it. Him and Kofi Kingston, they always had high spots. It was amazing. Here it's just like, I don't know. There were just so many things they could have done, like not let Roman Reigns win.
Let's talk about you want to start with the ladies match?
Yes.
It was
It was opening. The opening bout was the women's elimination chamber.
I have a picture of Charlotte up for some reason. Sorry,
Charlotte.
about that.
Hey, she's a queen. You had
She wasn't
Bailey
in the match. But
I know.
Okay.
We know where our minds are thinking. Bailey, Sasha Banks. We're thinking about Charlotte because she probably would have done a better
What are
job.
you talking about?
Nothing. Never mind. We had Bailey, Sasha Banks, Mickie James, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, and the WWE's Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss. And the winner of this competition or this match would either be crowned the new Women's Champion or unless Alexa Bliss wins it and retains it. So first two competitors is Bailey and Sonya Deville to start it off. And then after 5 minutes, first person comes out of their pod is Mandy Rose. They pretty much double team Bailey for a good 5 to 6 minutes until the fourth competitor comes out, which is, of course, her friend. I want to use that term close, friend, Sasha Banks.
I liked what Alexa Bliss had to say about Bailey today. I mean, tonight. Did you hear what she said?
Yeah.
She said Bailey was a
sad
situation.
And I'm like,
Thank you. It's very true. She is a sad situation.
She is. So now we have the two members of Absolution versus both Bailey and Sasha Banks. Mandy Rose is the first one eliminated from Sasha Banks from the Banks statement. She tapped out. Next, Mickie James. She pops out of her.
Let's speed through this.
Okay, she jumps out of her.
It was very good booking, but it was a little predictable in that they ganged up on Bailey at first.
Oh yeah,
and then Sasha came out to be the hero and play rescue, and then you could tell.
Well, the high spot of the night was Mickie James jumping off of her pod and just frog splashing Deville and pins her, and then Mickie James gets eliminated, double teaming from Bailey and Sasha. So now it's left over. It's just Bailey and Sasha and Alexa Bliss. This is where the drama unfolded and stuff. So we see them going after her. They're climbing on the chains of the wall, and then when they corner her, Sasha Banks.
Let's just cut to it.
Sasha Banks
we're spending way too much time.
Sasha Banks knocks out Bailey. Bailey falls. So now we don't know if she's going heel or not. And then when it's all said and done, two high spots of what's her finisher? Alexa Bliss's finisher. Sweet Bliss.
It's I forget the name of it.
Well, she does her finisher off a pod and off the top rope, and then she pins Sasha Banks at the last minute and wins it. She retains her title, going on to
It was a pretty
WrestleMania.
decent match. It was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been. And this is just the way I was raised. I just was. I've never been a big fan of the women and the hardcore type of matches. But
I love it.
That's because I'm an incredible sexist. No, I just don't want to see women get all cut up and stuff. I don't know. Anyway, good for them though. Great match.
Yeah.
What else? So, and they didn't close the show like they did Royal Rumble.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. So what do we have next?
Next, let's see. Oh, we have the WWE Raw Tag Team Championship match. The Bar versus Titus Worldwide. The Job Squad,
The Titus World.
You're right. We saw this match in Waco. This match was on their live show here in Waco this year, and it ended just the same way. Cesaro and Sheamus win again. Next match. Asuka versus Nia Jax. This was pretty good. Now, of course, if Nia Jax wins this, she's going to be the third participant in a hopefully triple threat match at WrestleMania for the women's title on Raw. Unfortunately, it did not happen.
This was stupid.
It did not
Can I
happen.
tell you why this was stupid?
Please, tell me why is this stupid?
Because Asuka's, first of all, Asuka's, the big thing everyone should focus on her about is her winning streak.
That's it. Yes.
Now, for them to focus on anything else besides that is just a waste. You don't have to you don't have to rush every female to that title, which WWE loves to do. What they should do, and it reminds me of back, I think it was 2000, where they had the Dudley Boys were in a tag team match on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And then the tag team champions, which were, I believe, at the time, X-Pac and Kane. So this must have been 99? No, it can't have been that long. Anyway, so let's just say you had Kane and X-Pac were the tag champs. And then you had the Dudley Boys. And they would trade off opponents. And
back and forth,
it would be like, whoever faced, the Kane and X-Pac would face the Dudley Boys next month. And then you had two nice tag team matches going on. But right now, it's and that's what they could have had with this Asuka. But instead, they just rushed her to the title. I think she's very deserving of winning the Royal Rumble. I just don't think she should have won the Royal Rumble because they could have gotten a lot more mileage out of every single match you see with Asuka is potentially the one that's going to break the streak.
Yeah.
And last night, Elimination Chamber, WWE dropped the ball. They had a match where her streak was on the line, and that wasn't the story. The story was about her opponent, which is dumb because you're trying to build up Asuka. You're not trying to build up her opponent. You know what I mean? And
I see that as well. But the thing, like you said, and what really makes me mad, because I am a Nia Jax fan. I am a fan of hers. It's just she tries. It's like she goes here. She's like right there at the finishing line. She's right there, and then all of a sudden, no, we better backtrack. You're just there just to be the buffer. Just so they can move up. And I'm tired of that.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I am. Asuka.
All right. So Asuka
she already has her match at WrestleMania. It doesn't matter anymore.
Okay, Rock.
Break it.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
So what was the next match after that? I can't even remember.
After that,
I don't even remember.
after that, it was
I'm so mad about the main event. I don't even know.
Oh God, don't worry, we're gonna go there. But next, of course, we had Matt Hardy, Woken Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt.
Yes.
The crowd was not into this match. Return to the beach.
They were more into the beach ball.
Beach ball came back. And we were talking about this, like, I hate it when crowds do this and they're not focused on the two performers and giving they're giving everything they can to these fans.
It was cool to see how pissed off about it Bray Wyatt was.
Yes. Oh, it was awesome. He had every right to be. And, the good part about this match, the spot on this match was when the crowd was chanting Rusev Day, because technically it is. It was Rusev Day.
It was Rusev Day last night.
So that was smart for them to do that. Probably the best thing they had. Yes. And, of course, Matt Hardy wins.
So they get to continue this story. So tonight on Raw, if we can do spoilers to Raw,
Go for it.
they announced, or actually they were hinting towards Sister Abigail, the return of Sister Abigail.
Yes.
I knew that's where this was headed.
We all knew this was
I
headed
just
there.
didn't think they were going to get a one-on-one match at WrestleMania.
Well, it kind of makes sense.
It's going to be pre-show, though.
Oh, God. Or pre-taped. Like at the compound.
Like the House of Horrors.
Yeah, or at the like at the Hardy compound, something like that.
Hey, it's almost time for Mr. B. So we've got, was that there's like 7 or 8 matches last night. What was it?
Let's see. You have that one. Then, oh, God, you have the train wreck of Ronda Rousey's promo and everything when she signs up with the WWE again.
Before we get into that, I just want to take a quick moment to welcome our special guest. We have a special guest in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the bizarre one, Goldust, is with us tonight. You didn't even mention Goldust when he walked in.
He was so quiet, and he was in the corner there, like he always, like he's just.
You know what he's
waiting.
doing?
What?
Oh, well, there's a giant in the background.
Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God.
He's playing mind games with us.
He always does that.
He's playing. Look, he's being so quiet right now.
Goldust, it's good to see you here.
Yes.
How are you feeling? Flawless, ladies and gentlemen. Flawless. So, other than that, let's see.
As I sneak back on the camera.
Awesome. Good job. Good job.
It was a fiasco. I was watching it on mute. I didn't hear what was going on. What happened?
Okay, let's see. The contracting signing for Ronda Rousey.
I know she put Triple H to a table.
She put Triple H to a table.
What was it? Kurt Angle stumbling over his words again?
Yes. He says WrestleMania 21. I mean 31.
Gosh.
And it's like, oh my God, you messed up. You have one job, Kurt. One job. Remember your own life. That's all you have to do.
He's not a good talker.
Not anymore. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Too many shots to the head. Why did this computer turn off? No.
I have no idea.
Yeah, he's taking too many shots to the head or something.
But even Ronda was like, I understand. She was nervous. This is her first time speaking, like to a big crowd, and not from a big fight or anything, But she was stumbling on her words, stuttering a little bit. And then, of course, Triple H took over and doing the showman that he is, great on the mic. You could do promos like it's nothing. So after that, Kurt Angle says, I'm just impressed. I'm so surprised, Ronda, that you're finally signing up with us. And here it is that Stephanie and Triple H said, we finally own the called her the bitch is what they did. We finally own this bitch now. And she says, excuse me, what? And then Triple H is like, whoa. That's not, we'll talk about this later. He's sick.
She said, excuse me, like Vicky Guerrero. I loved that.
Yeah. Excuse me. Anyhow, she heard that. Nobody calls her Ronda Rousey a bitch, so she side suplexed him into a table. And that was it. And then she gets slapped by Stephanie McMahon. She puts on the Ronda Rousey mean face, and she walks out. And then it ends.
All right, we got 5 minutes to review the main event of Elimination Chamber.
Oh, God. This is what happened. This is the best way I'm going to do this. Here we go. Braun Strowman eliminates Elias, John Cena, Finn Balor, The Miz.
You don't have to go that fast. We have a whole 5 minutes.
Okay. Braun Strowman eliminates The Miz.
Have to go a little slow.
Braun Strowman eliminates Elias. Braun Strowman eliminates John Cena. Braun Strowman eliminates Finn Balor. Braun Strowman eliminates Seth Rollins. And then Roman Reigns eliminates Braun Strowman. WTF, WWE.
They're booking Braun Strowman like he's the biggest thing in the world right now.
But they won't let him.
No, here's the problem. A lot of people online, a lot of people on Facebook and Twitter are up in arms because they feel that Braun Strowman is the deserved man to be in the main event at WrestleMania. I have a problem with that because they had this match. What was it? No Mercy. What was the pay-per-view they had back in like October? It was Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman 1-on-1. They probably should have saved that for me.
They should have saved that. You're right. They did.
They had it was the pay-per-view following SummerSlam.
Yes, but you got to remember one thing. Brock Lesnar will give a good show if he likes the person on a one-on-one basis. Like, they're workout buddies, whatever. If he doesn't like an opponent, let's say Dean Ambrose, he's going to give you a shit show. He just wants to collect his paycheck and he wants to go. And of course, what happened?
Don't quote Roman.
Huh?
Don't quote. Roman
I'm not quoting him. It's just how he is. He's a piss break. That's all he is to me. He's boring. He says that he does 5 or 6 suplexes.
No, I disagree. I think Brock's very interesting. I just think that
he's repetitive more than John Cena. I would have preferred to see John Cena win.
I don't even have the problem with Brock Lesnar in this situation. It's more of Roman Reigns. I just.
Oh, I agree with you on that too.
I hate Roman.
So let me tell you. So would you rather have Braun Strowman win and go to WrestleMania? Because you just said you didn't want him there. Like maybe not have deserved it. Maybe later on down the road, like SummerSlam. Lisa needs braces, but WrestleMania. Look who we have. Our choices. Would you rather see John Cena win and have his road to redemption for WrestleMania?
I wanted to see Finn win.
We all wanted that since Royal Rumble. That was the original
that more
plan.
Than Braun Strowman. I wanted that because we've never seen Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar before,
and it would have been great to see the Beast versus the Demon. They could have done so much
because you have Finn Balor. First of all, you could have had the Demon return at main event at WrestleMania. How awesome would that have been? But first of all, it's a match we haven't seen before. Secondly, you could have had the Demon.
Mm-hmm.
Next, you could have done a whole David and Goliath. Brock Lesnar is this huge guy, and Finn Balor is not the biggest guy in the world. He's kind of scrawny compared.
But he's one of the most adaptable wrestlers. Yeah,
it would have been such a nice fight, but. You know, WWE's stuck in this whole mindset of we got to have 2 big guys fight each other.
Vince McMahon is stuck in that mindset.
And it's never really worked. You know what I mean?
It hasn't worked in 10 years.
Think about The Undertaker's greatest matches were all with guys that were smaller than him. CM Punk is a prime example of that.
His last good match was with Triple H when Shawn Michaels was special guest referee.
Yeah, Triple H. Yeah.
That was a good match.
The thing about Triple H is he's always done so matches. That's just my opinion.
Oh, yeah. But that was it. That's pretty much what you had. And then Braun Strowman, after he gets the pin, Braun Strowman power slams Roman Reigns 3 times and then throws him through a pod.
After we get
so
done,
he
Mr.
could leave
B,
strong.
After we get done interviewing Mr. B, we need to take a moment. Just sit right there. And I'll tell you the reason why we all hate Roman Reigns.
Ooh.
You thought I was going to the Fresh Prince rap, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
All right, it's 11:20. It's time. It's time.
It's time.
It's Vader time. Hold on, I got to get the phone number.
While we're doing that, I shall be doing our theme song in my head.
Oh, what is our theme song?
Oh, wait, that's I Dream of Jeannie. Shit.
No, that's...
So, Goldust, tell me, how's your life been going? We've missed you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, there's a giant hand.
Mm-hmm. 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 And how was your brother? Stardust. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Really? Mm.
Save the show. Oh, you got your headphones? Okay.
I got my headphones on. I'm just mind setting. Mine, you know.
All right, here we go.
All right.
This is our first real guest.
First real guest. Oh,
Let's
God.
act like we've been there before.
Please don't mess up. Please don't let us mess up. Please don't let us mess up.
Hello?
Hey, Mr.
Hello,
B.
it's Mr. B in the house.
What's going on?
Not a whole lot. How are you feeling, man?
Allergies are acting up right now, and a little sore from this weekend. But
I was going to say,
I'm making it.
Well, things didn't exactly go your way this weekend, did they?
No,
that's too bad.
didn't.
You know, why do I even start this out on such a sour note? Why don't we talk about happy?
I know.
Yeah, no kidding.
What the hell?
Now you
Where's the gold man at?
Where's the gold man at? Well, I got a few questions for you, Mr. B. Chicago's finest or Chi-Town's? What do you prefer, Chicago's finest or Chi-Town?
Chi-Town.
Chi-Town. Is there a reason why you prefer Chi-Town over Chicago?
It's just more of a, I guess you could say, hip hop.
Okay, got it. I didn't know if Chicago's finest was like trademarked by someone else.
That's the PD.
you need to get on that Chi-Town's finest trademark. You know, you need to get on that before before Seth over here steals it.
Oh.
It'd be funny.
WWE might.
Oh yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That makes sense. We need to do that right away. This Chi-Town thing.
He's actually Pensacola's worst.
I'm Pensacola's worst. That's right.
Yeah, there you go. So you lost the title this weekend. I hate to bring up bad things. How long were you champion?
I lose the title.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, I
I
thought I saw online you lost the title.
Know your history, man.
I know. I need to do my research.
Omega put a picture of the title with the trophy, but
okay.
he
that
still
threw
wants
me
a
off.
shot at my title.
Oh,
But
okay.
no,
Wasn't he going to get a shot at another title? Why does he want yours?
Yeah, because see, Kyle Hawk did that last year and put his title on the line, and he lost the title and the tournament. So,
all right.
No, I learned my lesson. No.
Let me put.
But no, I lost to Omega in the first round, and I give him props. He's a big boy, and he's definitely an up and comer. He's somebody that I think people need to watch out for. We had a really good match, and everything, but he got lucky.
Now you mentioned
I was going to tear his leg apart.
You mentioned Kyle Hawk. He is of Aero Club. Is that correct?
Aero Club. Yep. He is one half of the Aero Club.
There's only two guys in there. Oh, it's a small.
No, they have.
Well, they're Native
Aero
Americans.
Club
What do you expect, right? There's only
Aero Club consists of Kyle Hawk,
Coyote.
Desi.
Yeah,
Desi,
I saw him.
Dorada.
I saw him a few weeks ago, Coyote, up in Dallas.
And I know. Actually, they have Tatanka is a member.
Oh,
of the
okay.
Aero Club.
Wow.
So that leads me to my next question.
Awesome.
Okay, we've got Aero Club, we've got Villains Club, we got Dot Mob, we got DTF. It all pretty much started a couple of years ago with Bullet Club. Now we've got all these little groups and factions. I want to ask you something, Mr. B, just from your point of view, because you have probably the best insight on this. Are the groups getting out of hand, or is this good for independent wrestling? In your personal opinion,
I think some of them are. I mean, I understand what Aero Club, what they're doing. It's different. It's a native. It's more for Native Americans. That's what their group is about and everything. But you got some of these guys that they just get together a group, and then when the whole group thing falls off, it goes right back to the same old thing. I really think we're losing the whole concept of tag team wrestling.
Right. Here's the bottom line, Mr. B. Are the groups a draw at all?
Certain ones are. I think. I think a lot of these guys have forgotten that this is a work, that it's business and everything, and so
right.
that they're a lot. You got a few of them that get upset because they want creative control of what they do.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the full horseman. You're not. You haven't got to that particular echelon in the business where you can tell a promoter, hey, I don't want, I'll come work for you, but if I come work for you, we got to have creative control of our gimmick.
Yeah. Now I know some of the guys in these groups, but honestly, if I didn't know them personally, if I'm going to an indie show, unless it's like a Bullet Club member, I really don't care what little faction you're part of. Because
honestly, if you go to a show and it's one of some of these shows, they're spot shows. They don't.
Right.
They have no storyline. It's just they throw together a couple matches. So, you go there and then you see, okay, this group, and then you're just like, okay, so what's going on? Like, who are these guys? But like here at TCW, we run all our things off of storylines. Everything's based off storylines. Everything that goes on at TCW has some specific storyline to it and everything. So, that way when you come to a show, you have an idea of why is this group together,
Right.
and who are they? Why they don't like this group, or who is this tag team and stuff like that.
Well, it's like when I was working with WAW back in the day, I would always preach them. If you're good and you're really clever, you can do both things. Where you can do storylines for the fans that come back every month, but at the same time, you can do a self-contained story, and at the same time, leave them wanting more, so they come back next month or whatever it is. Now, you mentioned TCW, Total Championship Wrestling. It's been around for 9 years now. Can you believe that?
Yes, 9 years. Get ready to hit our 10-year anniversary.
Now, what's your personal proudest moment in TCW's history?
I would have to say recently when to have my tag team championship belts worn by the Von Erichs.
All right.
Nice.
The Von Erichs were actually TCW champions for about a month or two. So it was pretty cool to have them as our champion. They took it with them to Hawaii and some other places. So
that's really cool.
Sweetness.
I think that was one of the cool moments.
I saw them a few weeks back, and I love their whole gimmick, especially the I can't remember if it's God, what are their names again? They have the most country like Texas names. I can't remember what are their names again.
You talk about
Marshall
and Ross.
Yes. Those are some Texas boy names there. I love it.
I love their whole Travis.
I love the whole gimmick of one not wearing shoes. That's awesome.
Well, just like his father.
Yeah. So that's great. I have a question for you. Oh, actually, first of all, before we get to it, in case I forget, I'm going to ask you again at the end. Where can we check out TCW next, or when, I should say?
TCW's next show is March 24th. Right here in Khalid at the National Guard Armory. It'll be March 24th, bell time 6 p.m. And we're still figuring out stuff, but we do have it was supposed to be set. I got to check with the commissioner, but it's still supposed to be set. One of the big matches is going to be Danny Donovan versus Godric McKenzie in a hardcore match.
Ooh.
So
Danny coming out of retirement.
Yeah.
I know Danny from way back. Yeah.
Godric's a little upset, because, he decided to cut the promos, at the promotional events without being Danny, and so we had to beat him up. We had to beat him down. So he challenged both of us, and Danny decided to take the challenge, and so March. It's those two at a hardcore match.
Awesome. Got it.
Cool.
Well, I'm gonna ask you again at the end of the show. Hey, I got a question for you.
I got you.
In honor of Black History Month, who, in your opinion, is the greatest African American wrestler to step in the ring? Besides yourself, you can't count yourself. There is a correct answer, by the way, but I'm gonna let you go ahead. What's your opinion?
I mean, for me, I have two.
Okay.
I would definitely have to say Iceman King Parson, because he's the guy. He's the first African American guy that I saw wrestle that got me to want to wrestle. And
Texas boy. All right. Love it.
Yeah, it's funny that I say that because a lot of the young guys are like, "Who the hell is Iceman King Parson?" Like, what is the,
You know what's sad about Iceman? I'm not trying to be funny at all, but he used to have that gimmick with the cane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he needs it now.
Stop.
I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying how it's like he's
salty.
Like, it's not a gimmick anymore. He just I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. B. Who's your other one?
The other one I would say is Ron Simmons.
Thank you. Yes. Sorry, I'm from Florida, so it's like he's our guy. So.
Yeah, I would say Ron Simmons just because, he just busted his ass to do what he needed to do, and I mean he didn't quit. Even though people always told him Vince is not going to put a title on you. You're
they're going to put a stupid blue helmet on you is what they're going to do.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah,
You know, my favorite,
He just kept going.
my favorite Ron Simmons moment ever is when. Do you remember? Okay, do you remember back when the Nation of Domination had those guys in suits? Like they looked like they were from like the Nation of Islam or something. They would hang around.
Yeah.
And they weren't like wrestlers. They were just guys. So it was the night where they kicked those guys out of the group, and Farouk's sitting there kicking one in the ribs, and he goes, "Get out of here! Y'all never took no bumps anyway." And I just started laughing. I was
That's
like,
awesome.
I love that.
I think Al Rage was one of those guys because I know he likes to. They used to book him in Austin as a part of the Nation of Domination.
Oh man! So I think, and this is just my opinion, but I think and of course my opinion is always correct. The greatest African American wrestler of all time, Ernie Ladd, and here's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the world of sports, first of all, he left football. You know, it didn't like his body couldn't do it anymore. He left football to go wrestle.
Yeah.
You know, always much respect for that. He was doing the Ronda Rousey thing way before Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
But before Muhammad Ali, or previously known Cassius Clay, before Cassius Clay won the World Heavyweight title, the year before, Ernie Ladd was the biggest draw in the world of sports. And this was during a time of the civil rights movement. You got to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've always been so proud to be a wrestling fan about, is while you had other kind of situations, even in baseball and football, where you kind of had just kind of really the race relations were really kind of iffy and kind of nasty. And, you know, I remember this story about Richie Allen, who played for the Philadelphia Phillies back in the 60s. Was a black guy, but I've always called him they've always referred to him as kind of like the opposite of Jackie Robinson, because whereas Jackie Robinson turned the other cheek and kind of persevered through it, Richie Allen would yell back at him. But the thing is, they always said, oh, he had such a negative attitude. And it was like, no one ever mentions the fact that he was getting called racial slurs by his own fans, you know? So, but during that time, to think that Ernie Ladd was the biggest draw in all sports is amazing.
True.
Other than that, but I've always been, I wanted to say, I always want to say I was so proud to be a wrestling fan, because I think that wrestling fans, race hasn't been that big of an issue.
It never, unless it's story-wise, because the promoters, they feed that on the crowd.
Unless we have Roddy Piper with half his face painted.
Yeah. But it's just like B was saying, Ron Simmons, I remember watching that live, and he won the title. I was jumping up and down, and I'm probably the only white kid in my group of friends, just like, oh my God, he just won. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. And he's from, he's Florida. He's a Seminole. So it's like, me being from Pensacola, this was our guy. This is our champion. So
it's funny. I have it made me think of Bobo Brazil.
Tony Atlas.
It made me think of this. It made me think of this really funny story my father-in-law told me about. He went to go see Bobo Brazil back in the day, and his last name is Kuhn. I'm not making this up. His last name is Kuhn, Kuhn. And he was there at the wrestling show, and Bobo Brazil is in the ring, right?
Yeah.
And so his friend sees him, and he starts yelling out for him. He goes, Kuhn, like that.
Oh my God.
But you got to keep my Bobo Brazil is in the ring. And so all these people sort of turned to him, and he almost got,
annihilated,
destroyed. He had to leave. But it was hilarious.
I will say this. I'll say this, that I'm glad it's to the point where the fans don't see it. But I will say this, from a promoter and a wrestler standpoint, it still does exist.
Definitely.
The racial thing still exists. I've worked at a couple promotions outside of Texas that they just refuse to put a black wrestler over on a white guy. It's just or they'll make comments if there's more than 3 black guys in the locker room. Oh, back in the days, this was a no-no. You can't have this many black people in the back. And they play it off by trying to make it jokes, but it's one of those things, especially with some of the older schoolers. You could tell, like, okay, this is really bothering them right now. But it's one of these things I tell my guys a lot of times, in this business, as a black man in this business, sometimes you got to be 10 times better. You got to work 10 times harder. You got to, you just got to get recognized and make it to that next spot. I mean, honestly, and I've told people this before. People don't believe me. You had the team of I can't think of what that name was. They were in WWE. They used to come out to that. What was it? Yo yo yo.
Man on a mission.
Men on a mission.
No, Chad Gaspar and
Oh,
JT,
Crime Time.
JTG.
Crime Time.
Oh God, yeah.
JTG.
JTG,
Look how over they were, but WWE refused to put the tag titles on them.
I know.
Refused to. Now you got Titus. Even before this right here, where it was Titus and his original partner.
Darian Young.
Refused to put they refused to put the tag titles on them. It's like they'll put them out there, and they can have the greatest fan base, and they can have the biggest following, but WWE refuses to put tag titles on any of them.
Yeah,
and to me, I feel like even with them giving Mark Henry the title for a little bit, it was just something to say, hey, okay, look, we gave it to him. Shut the fuck up. Okay, that's enough.
But I remember it's true.
That was a great run, by the way, with Mark Henry.
But I remember when
the
Ahmed
Hall of Pain. That was awesome.
God, that was awesome. But Ahmed Johnson, he went out of that mold, and he was awesome and amazing as an IC champ.
Backstage, stories about him being upset that they wouldn't put the title on him.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's change.
What I heard, he went to Vince with at gunpoint.
Oh. Hey, let's change gears a little bit, Mr. B. I'm gonna have a little fantasy scenario for you. Okay. I'm gonna give you. Not really. I'm just gonna give you hypothetically $1 billion, $1 billion. Right. Every wrestler in the world is a free agent. Who are the first 5 guys you sign to be in your Fed?
From all promotions, right?
So anywhere, top 5 guys.
Wow, that's hard because I know a typical person would be like, oh, John Cena and all these other guys and everything. Honestly, I would go with the roster I got.
Hey, good for you. Good for you. That's awesome.
I would take that money and invest it in these local guys to help them get bigger and help them and give them the shot.
I know what he's saying. He's saying he wants to keep all that money for himself.
He wants to bring back the revolution.
Keep paying his guys
he wants to bring back how ECW used to be. That's what he wants to do.
His first name is Cheap, and the B stands for bastard, so it's Mr. Cheap.
Oh, that's wrong.
No, that's an
awesome.
I was actually hoping for an answer like that.
Yeah.
Where he just, I would go.
Give us a new product.
I would honestly go. I think I heard on someone else say in a podcast where they try to spend a bunch because TNA has tried to do the same thing WCW did when they tried to spend a lot of money on former great stars, and it said it's never really worked. Yeah, you want to go with the young talent, build up from the bottom.
It doesn't. You can. I say this all. I like. I understand what Wrestle Circus is doing, and I understand what like some of these other promotions are doing. By bringing in all these big names. But if those big names aren't helping put it over your local talent, then all you're doing is becoming another PWG and some of these other ones that they're just bringing in the big names, and that's it. Now the problem with that is, and I've seen it happen. Is you start a promotion, you bring in all these big names, okay? You your first 4 or 5 shows is all big names, and then you get to that point where, man, we can't afford to keep bringing all these big names in, so we're going to start using some of the local talent. Well, guess what? Now your fan base falls off because they want to see the big names because that's all you were bringing in was the big names. Now they don't want to see the local talent because they want to see the big names. My thing is, you bring in a big name, he or she should be willing to work a local talent and be willing to put over that local talent without any ego because you've had your shot. You've been at the big time already. Why not help mold somebody else to get up there to where you've been?
It kind of goes into my thing about one of the most frustrating things, and I went through this with WW, and me and Chad are talking about restarting that up again. What we're that's actually an exclusive on Ringside. Ooh,
Let me know if you need any help.
there's potential there. Anyway, the frustrating thing about running a wrestling company, and I think Mr. B can atone for this or can say whether or not this is true. It's not hard because first of all, you've had. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought my phone had cut off. You have decades of experience of it works, doesn't work. You have sort of a set plan for the next 3-6 months of where you want these guys to be and where you want the stories to go. It's not hard. It's pretty easy to do. Where the problem comes in is you got these guys with egos and you got these guys with their own visions who come in. And that's what's, no offense to anybody that ever worked in WWE, but that's what screwed us. Is we had all these guys that had their own vision of where they
have
wanted
stars in their eyes.
Where their wrestler character was going, and nobody would ever get on the same page. So it's very easy, but at the same time, that's such a big roadblock. Hey, I was going to ask you.
We've dealt with that. We've dealt with that here at TCW. We've had guys that got upset because they want things to go one way, or they're on this, I'm tired of losing, or, why do I have to lose to this guy or whatever. Well, you know what? If you're that good and you're that good where you're too good to put another guy over, or why are you still on this level?
Right.
Why are you not in WWE? If you were that good, you should be in WWE, but you're not. You're on the same level as everybody else. So drop the ego and just go out and do what you get paid to do. And that's what I tell my guys all the time. Is like a job. This is a job. I'm paying you to go out and wrestle and perform. You have a regular job. When you go to work, you tell your boss, "Hey, I don't feel like working today. I'm not going to do this today." You do that, you don't have a job.
See,
so why do you think that you can do this on the independent level? That you can go out, that you can come in here, tell the promoter, I'm not gonna put that guy over, or I'm not gonna work that guy and everything, and then expect that you go still have a job. No.
Well, the smartest thing they could do is make it to where they get something. I don't know what it is, like a look, go to the gym more, get better on the mic, whatever it is you have to do. Make the fans hate that you lose, and then you'll be forced to start booking it differently. Hey, I want to ask you, you talked a little bit about WWE earlier. What do you think about the current state of WWE? They're kind of, they're trying out the split brand thing again, and it's kind of working, and then they basically did it out of necessity because the roster is so bloated right now.
Yeah,
because they have all the talent in the world. But what's your opinions? What do you think of WWE?
Problem is they don't have any competition, so it's like they're trying to do it amongst themselves, and it ain't working.
Yeah.
The whole brand split, it's not working, honestly. It really isn't. And I think I heard y'all talking about it earlier, when y'all were doing the review and everything. It's just they're dropping the ball on a lot of stuff. I love Asuka. I love Asuka, and I think she's a hell of a worker and everything. But I agree. We already know who her opponent is. We know what she's doing at WrestleMania. So let's build somebody else up and figure out who's gonna, who else is gonna be so. Who's gonna be the #1 contender after that match happens?
It really should have been. It really should have been. Her opponent at WrestleMania really should have been Ronda Rousey. It really been. You would have had the white hot former UFC. It's her first match. Of course, she's not going to lose. But then you put her up against Asuka. Wait a minute. She's got that streak on the line. That makes it interesting.
Yeah.
If they really wanted to, they could have 3 interesting storylines going on with the women. They could have the championship. They could have Ronda Rousey with Stephanie or whatever. And then you could have Asuka with her undefeated streak. You don't have to combine any of those. Keep those 3 separate storylines going. And then you've got, and then it's like, okay, now I want to watch women's wrestling, know? Other than just the one storyline.
Well, that's another thing. There's, like you said, there's too many wrestlers. There's not enough time.
Yeah, it is. They've got way too many on the roster, and there's not not enough, and you can't send a lot of them back down to NXT because NXT's got their full roster. You
And
know, so it's
So
like 205, it's
now
no
to the
longer
point
on
where-
Raw anymore.
Yeah, it's not because honestly, ever since 205 started, I really haven't watched it. I've watched a couple episodes and I got bored because I'm like, okay.
you didn't see Bryson
and I've
Scott on
always
there?
said this, and I say this all the time. I'm an old school wrestler. I believe wrestling is wrestling. Like this all nowadays the fans are so spoiled because of nowadays everybody's got to do the flips. Everybody's got to do 30 flips. No one tells a story anymore. Everybody's got to do 30 flips. And I always say, when did wrestling become gymnastics? When did we move away from wrestling and telling a story with two guys, two warriors, in there battling out to get the win, to now it's who can outflip who? You know,
It's ridiculous.
That's pretty much 205 right there.
I'm agreeing with you. It's ridiculous. You
At
really
least
see
with
it
Lucha,
on the indie circuit
Yeah.
a lot. You see it it's really bad.
Yeah.
But at least with Lucha Underground, they actually write a story. I mean, it's pre-taped and everything. Yes.
Let's not go into Lucha Underground. My personal
But my
opinions about
thing-
that.
my thing on that is still the fact is that it I see it and I use PWG as a prime example because that's where I see it all the time. Is you get those guys in there, they go in there, they do all these flips and everything, but nothing registers.
Yeah.
What happened to the days when a clothesline kept you down for a little bit? A DDT kept you down. That was a finisher.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a setup. And at PWG, you got to hit seven DDTs to keep somebody down.
Oh, don't forget the super kick. Everybody in their super kick.
Everybody's super. Dude, that's why I'm trying to get away from it. But unfortunately, most of the promotions I work for like the way I do it.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Hey, so Mr. B, you
I
mentioned
gave Bushwhacker Luke a black eye.
you mentioned.
I gave a Hall of Famer a black eye.
Well, there you go. You mentioned
Lucky.
you mentioned WWE not having any competition right now. What, in your opinion, does TNA have to do to get back on a respectable level? That's a loaded question. If there's one or two things,
get away from grabbing old WWE talent.
Mm-hmm.
What made TNA so great back in the days is because you had guys like AJ,
and
and
Samoa
you had,
Joe.
Mhm.
you had
Samoa Joe, Xavier.
you had all the up and coming talent,
Mm-hmm.
and what they did was they focused around that talent. Yeah, they had a couple, former WWE guys there, but they were focused around the AJ,
Yeah.
the Christopher Daniels and stuff, and the American Al. They focused around those young talents, and then they got away from it.
And then
The
Kevin
Octagon- the
Nash and
Octagon
Booker
ring.
T came.
No, Hogan.
The Octagon ring was
Hogan came in.
another thing that helped him.
Yeah.
Having
Yeah.
that six-sided, the Octagon ring, it was something that helped him. And then all of a sudden, Hogan came in and all of them came in and just totally
Ruined it.
wiped it.
Yeah. Because they
Ruined
wanted the main
whole
focus. Yeah.
thing, and next thing you know, it was a carbon copy of WWE.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it was.
Hey, Mr. B,
That's what it turned into.
before we let you go, I got one more question for you. What's your advice? Because how many years you been in this business now?
16 years, going on 17.
Oh, 60 years. Did you hear that? He's been
16.
16. Oh, 16.
He said 16.
Hey, what advice would you have for somebody that's young, that's just breaking into the business?
First thing, go to a credible training school.
See, that was my problem.
Don't go to just some dude that says, "Oh, I can train you," and he's never trained anybody, or you haven't seen any product that came from him. Go to a school that has a building, has weights, has a ring, and the trainer is creditable. He's done his time. He's trained some guys and everything. My big recommendation, are, go to Booker T's school. Go to George or Ray Campbell AAPW in Austin.
Is Funaki still doing that down in San Antonio?
I think Funaki's still training in San Antonio. Even Rudy Boy Gonzalez, he's still training up there.
Mm-hmm.
In Dallas, I know VIP's got a really good training school going on up there. But go to an accredited school. Don't go to some guy that just he's got a ring in the backyard and he's like, hey, $50 and I'll teach you how to be a wrestler, and he teaches you shit.
Right.
And then when you go out there and you look like crap, he doesn't want to take credit for you. That's not my guy. Go somewhere, be properly trained, learn, be trained on how, the basics, knowing the basics. Because I tell guys all the time, WWE can teach anybody how to flip. I learned that from Dr. Tom Pritchard. Pritchard told me that, and so did I can't think of the other guy. Booker told me. He's like, WWE can teach anybody how to flip. But what they want are guys that know the basics, that know how to, they can close their eyes and know where they are in the ring at all times. They know the difference between a hammerlock and a headlock.
Mm-hmm.
If they mess up a spot, they know how to go to that rest spot. They know how to cover it and everything. They don't want to have to take the time to teach that. And if you notice, all these guys that are getting called up to NXT right now that are from the Indies are guys that have already put in their time. They're already an established product. They have a fan base. They've been wrestling for a while and everything. They're doing this so that they don't have to spend so much money training you. Now all they're doing is training you to the WWE standard. They're training you to work their style. They don't have to go back to teaching you how to do the basics.
I've noticed that too. They've started calling a lot of guys in their 30s, and which is kind of amazing and cool. The other bonus you get with that, they're a lot more mature.
Yeah.
There's the difference between Finn Balor coming to NXT when he's like 34, 35,
mm-hmm.
then Paige when she's like 20, and you just see those two, and you can see what I'm talking about as far as the maturity level and their ability to handle all this success, and the way they handled it very well. Anyway, Mr. B, we're going to let you go, but it's been a pleasure talking with you. March 24th, did you say?
Yes, March 24th at the Killeen National Guard Armory, 3101 South W.S. Young here in Killeen, Texas.
Well, as soon as you get a flyer made up, send it to us, and we'll start plugging it on our show. How's that sound?
Trying to make a day. Try to get over there to go see it.
Will.
All right. Well, Mr. B, it's been a pleasure. And I just wanted to say, I don't know if I got a chance to thank you for the WAW show. I can't even talk. WAW show you helped us out on. That we couldn't have done it without you. We salute you for that.
I had a blast there.
We're so happy you were able to make it out there. All right, Mr. B, you get some sleep, okay, sir?
You have a good night, Mr. B. Take care.
Take it easy.
You too, sir.
We'll see you next time. Oops, I hung up.
You hung up on the champ?
I hung up on the champ.
How dare you, man? That went pretty good.
That went pretty good. We didn't mess that up. That was great.
All right.
Goldust,
Mr. B,
Goldust looks pissed.
Oh, well.
That's because we haven't been paying attention to him.
Sorry, but Mr. B's more than welcome to call him back again,
I thought you were going to say Mr. B's more welcome than Goldust, which is true.
It's true.
Well, the fake Goldust. I don't know. So
we were talking about how we hate.
Let's
count the ways.
I tell you what. Let's take a break. Let's do the tweet spot.
Okay.
For those of you who are not familiar with us, the tweet spot is when we look at our favorite tweets of the night. I'm just trying to think of music that should go with the tweet.
Tweet. Tweedly.
Can you do that Nation of Domination song in honor of Farouk?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I love that song. Should I turn the microphones off?
No, keep them on. Just.
Okay, well, we'll be right back. We're going to look at the tweets. This is our favorite tweets. And remember, if you use the hashtag Raw, you could be featured on our night, as long as it's interesting and funny. So
yes.
Here you go. I never noticed how repetitive that song is. I thought Bobby Roode's song was repetitive, but that has nothing on the Nation of Domination.
Nothing on that one.
Let's just quickly run through Raw because we're so running. We had a great interview.
We did. It was amazing.
That was a great. If we're gonna spend a lot of time on something, we'd rather spend on that time than talking about Raw.
Just Roman Reigns.
I just want to talk about the few big things that happened on Raw tonight. Maybe you could fill me in on something else.
Some of them, yeah. Go for it.
First of all, there was Rollins defeated The Miz tonight.
Yes.
And,
but then...
did he officially earn an IC title?
See, that's just it. And then all of a sudden, Kurt Angle says it depends on who you're going to wrestle.
Oh, gosh.
And then Finn Balor shows up, and he has a impromptu match again, and he loses to that. So I think they're trying to make it a triple threat match.
Miz lost?
Miz lost to Finn Balor.
So Miz lost right after he lost to Rollins?
Yes.
How is that fair?
I have no idea.
What about the rules?
I've had to hear with your rules.
Is there no justice?
when do we get the guns?
Well, of course Miz is going to lose. He just got beat by another guy.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
That makes no sense.
That makes less sense than when Cena got a title shot against Rey Mysterio the same night that Rey Mysterio won it.
Yeah. But
do you remember that?
I remember that because CM Punk came back.
Ray beat The Miz to win the WWE Championship in a tournament for the vacated title. And then Cena challenged him the same night. What a douche. Anyway.
Oh, he is.
So...
and then John Cena, of course, he doesn't have his road to WrestleMania. So what he's going to do, like we were saying as a douche, he's going to go to SmackDown tomorrow.
Didn't he name drop? He name dropped Undertaker tonight. Right?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, I just didn't hear.
And he says we can go against the Undertaker. That's what we want, but it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. So I'm going to go to SmackDown and see what I can do. So it's probably going to be a 6-pack challenge.
So why did he say it's not going to happen against Undertaker?
I don't think it's going to happen.
No, why didn't he not say why it was?
He just said things aren't meant to be. It's not supposed to happen. That's what he said.
Well, no. Why would he even mention that?
I don't know.
That's dumb.
It is dumb. But he's going to go to SmackDown and he's going to, I don't know, get involved in the fatal 5-way. This be a 6-pack challenge.
Is that what he said?
That's what everyone's thinking.
No.
And well, the thing is, their ratings are very bad. Their tendencies are very bad for SmackDown. So John Cena needs the help.
All right. So what everyone's talking about tonight is the promo that Roman Reigns cut tonight.
Yes.
This kind of ties into what I was talking about earlier with just hating Roman Reigns. I don't hate Roman Reigns as a person. He's probably a lovely guy. I don't know. He's probably
a nice guy.
Probably really nice guy. I've seen the pictures of him because they did this. They do these spots where they talk about him and his daughter and how he's talking about being a good dad. Seems like a really decent
good dad.
guy.
Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with Roman Reigns. The big problem with Roman Reigns,
yes,
is he's kind of had things handed to him. He talks about being born into the bloodline that okay, well, I was born into a very poor bloodline. It's like
doesn't mean
that's good for you. You get to be in a wrestling family and
wrestling
you get to
royalty.
have already a foot in the door. That's problem number one. He's already had a foot in the door. Second problem is, and I can't really fault him too much for this. He's only a wrestler because his football career didn't work out.
Yeah,
that's basically it. Not that he shouldn't have tried. I mean, good Lord, you could have a very, we just talked about Ernie Ladd. You could have a very long and illustrious career when your football career is over in wrestling. So why not try to football? But it's just a little bit of a sting that this wasn't his first choice. Next, he's the cousin of The Rock.
Yes.
Or by marriage or whatever. The unofficial cousin of The Rock. So then it's like you even have a bigger foot in the door because it'd be one thing if it was, if you take The Rock out and you just have, the Wild Samoans and
the Usos, Rikishi.
You just had that whole family.
Yeah.
That would be big. But to have The Rock as, that's an even bigger foot in the door.
And having The Rock there for your Royal Rumble winnings, when you won that one year, and him just like, hey, this is it. It's like, it's tiring, man. I'm tired of it.
And but probably the most damning thing about Roman Reigns was what CM Punk revealed on the Colt Cabana podcast about them telling him to make Roman look strong. It seems like every other big top baby face got there because the fans decided that's who they wanted. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Daniel Bryan. These were guys the fans wanted to see as the champion. And you could even make that argument for John Cena, even though John Cena is pretty much hated by a lot of people now. When he was first coming up, when he was earning his stripes, people liked him. People were getting behind him. It's just that he was kind of booked after he won the title. He was booked kind of shitty, so they turned against him. But the fact remains that at one point we were with him. Roman, we weren't ever really with him. He was forced down our throat, and that's why we hate him. And to me, a lot of people are like, "Oh, they're all these marks. They're all happy. They're like, oh, he cut a great promo against Brock Lesnar." And it's like, well, first of all, he's not shooting.
No,
that's
not.
the first thing. He's not shooting. It was scripted.
You see how well he could speak and how he remembered everything?
The pipe bomb that CM Punk dropped, that wasn't scripted.
That was not.
That was straight off his head and from his heart. This was, somebody told him to say, oh, mention how he was taking pictures with Brock, with Dana White, and and say, call him a bitch, and then all those other things. And so people are like, oh, it's pretty good. And it's like, no,
so this is who we're supposed to go for.
Like I said,
I'm done with
Roman. What's his name? Joe Anoy or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Probably a great guy. I'd probably love to hang out with him. You could have a beer with that guy. That guy's probably fun to be around. As far as his character, I just can't stand
He's generic.
This is
tough man generic.
Now I know how you felt about John Cena.
Thank you.
Of course, I like Cena, but this is now how I understand how you feel now. So was there any? So the main event. Oh, the main event tonight was Ronda Rousey, and they did this weird thing where Kurt Angle apologized for what he said.
He apologized saying, "I'm sick. I don't know what I was talking about. You don't understand. I really need this." And he says this out loud. "I really need this job, Ronda."
Then everybody laughed.
And everybody laughed. Yeah. And then he goes, "I was sick," and they're like, "See, he was sick. He was lying. It's okay." And then when they walk away, Triple H sucker punches him.
Yeah, it was
Why did you do that?
All right, I have a couple of on this day in pro wrestling history.
Oh, I just want to see AJ Styles and
on
Nakamura.
On this day,
I see clearly.
Hey, Seth, on this day, 51 years ago, Vern Gagne celebrated his 41st birthday by winning his 8th AWA heavyweight title.
How old was he?
He was 41 at the time.
41.
We should have mentioned that to Mr. B as far as, the guy owning the company, putting the belt on him.
Yeah.
But what Vern used to say about that is he's the only guy I could trust is me.
Yep.
So,
and he put on good matches.
All these other champions that no show or
they were too drugged out or they were too
he can trust himself,
drunk.
So no fault there for putting the strap on yourself.
And his matches were amazing.
It's funny is we need to talk about the Gagnes one of these days
because
his son was it Vern Gagne, and then his son was I'm putting him on the spot. I'm on the spot right now. I can't remember. That wasn't Eric. No, it was Greg Gagne.
Yeah,
Greg Gagne. I saw a few of his matches. Of course, for the old ESPN.
Yeah.
AWA shows. I didn't think he was terrible, but just the fact that he never got past the mid-card title is interesting. I wonder, because people are always like, well, it's because Greg wasn't a very good wrestler. So, and we can prove it because even his own dad wouldn't put the title on him. I think it was more of a thing of either Greg or Vern not wanting to have anyone accuse them of nepotism. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Like the whole Kurt Angle, Jason Jordan thing.
I think,
story-wise,
I think
anyway.
that, what are you
Kayfabe.
talking about? Stop it. I think they were in fear of people saying it was nepotism.
Well, because, of course, with favoritism, you're just got the belt because you're the son. Yeah,
but
you're the son.
On. Now we don't have to talk about it. We just talked about it.
We did it.
21 years ago today, the British Bulldog defeated Owen Hart to become the first European champion. So that's something.
Wow.
18 years ago, Tommy Dreamer and Masato Tanaka defeated the Impact players to become ECW Tag Team Champions.
Okay.
16 years ago, Goldust defeated Maven to become the hardcore champion.
Good job,
And
Goldust.
11 years ago, Cena and HBK defeated Rated RKO for the tag team championships. Seth, we
Wow.
have one birthday to celebrate today, aside from Vern Gagne's.
Okay.
Rest in peace. Sinister Minister's birthday is today.
Sinister Minister. Wow. That's a name from the past.
Who, of course, we remember from ECW, and then he went on to TNA.
Mm-hmm.
Which, when did he wrestle under in TNA? Was it Sinister Minister?
It
in
was,
TNA?
or the Minister.
I don't remember.
But wasn't he also the Sinister Minister? Wasn't he also the manager for what were those guys' names? They all look like Mortal Kombat fighters.
We have
Cannon,
let's move on.
Let's move on.
Who's better?
Who's better than Cannon? See, that's how you remember. It must be true.
So tonight,
Inside joke, guys.
as we always like to do on Ringside Review,
Yes.
we like to crown something the greatest or worst, something of all time. And remember, folks, when we say it, it has to be true.
It's canon.
It's canon. So tonight we're going to decide who has the worst tattoos in professional wrestling history.
Oh, okay, cool. Professional wrestling. Okay.
All right, not just in real life. And this is my personal feeling about tattoo. I'd never get one. I don't think I just don't. They're not my thing.
They're
I
so
don't think they're.
overrated.
Yeah. Yours aren't bad. Yours actually kind of have that cool tattoos. You got the roses on one. You got the chick on the other side, which is always kind of like, I don't know. I always thought it was kind of cool when guys had like the chicks on there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know what it's like. I don't know.
I didn't want to get barbed wire and skulls and all that stuff. No thanks.
But do you still have the Japanese symbol on your? On your
I
arm?
still have a Japanese.
Yeah,
symbol
where's
like
like
that. Yeah.
the one that means this isn't chicken or whatever.
Lawnmower.
Yeah.
Lawnmower.
All right, so we're gonna start off. You might want to come over here for this so you can see.
Oh no! I want them to see my beautiful. Okay, let's see.
It's not on you anyway.
All right. Here we
First of all, we're gonna start with the Big Show's tiger tattoo on his arm. Doesn't really. I don't know why. If you're a giant, you have a tiger. I don't know why. If you're a giant, you have a tiger. It just seems kind of ridiculous, and it's not a good tattoo either. Like it's not a good drawing. We're gonna. How about Bad News Barrett's or Wade Barrett's big cover up that he had on his left side. The right one's okay, but it's too big. Never. It looks like two different people, doesn't it?
He didn't tan that. He didn't tan. Okay.
So then we have, of course, on the cover of the ECW album, Sandman with his little self-portrait of what's going on.
The bullet hole in his head.
I don't know if this is a good tattoo or a bad tattoo. It's not a very well done tattoo.
It's not good at all. It's not.
It's just you're kind of stuck with it.
Yeah.
I don't realize how small Sandman's arms are. Well, in that picture they are. He's really a giant guy.
A drunk giant guy.
Then of course we have Brock Lesnar's chest tattoo.
Oh, that's probably the worst one.
Which he got after he left WWE. Yes, when he went to UFC, I believe.
Yeah.
It always looks like he's about to reach into his stomach and try to pull it out.
To be perfect for a Mortal Kombat fighter.
The one on his back was kind of obscure, but kind of was cool. One picture I didn't get was I didn't have a chance. It was Alex Riley's big cross on his back.
Oh yeah.
Which me and my brother John always had this theory that that's what kept him out of the main event, was he just had this big ugly cross on his back. How about Bob Holly's midlife crisis Rock Jr. tattoo? I don't know what you'd call that with all the the tribal whatever.
Tragedy is what it is. Looks terrible.
It's bad for him.
Yes.
Because he's hardcore Holly.
He doesn't need a tattoo. He's hardcore.
How about Batista's belly button tattoo?
Belly button.
This was not a good idea, Batista. The rest of his tats were cool. He's got the arm. One on his back is just massive, and it just looks. It's so intricate and well done, but it's just all thrown off because of that. How about Jericho's ugly tattoo?
You don't like his forearm tattoo?
No, I just think the blue and the red coloring just looks kind of gross. What's really bad is the F on the Fozzy F on his hand. Just looks. It just looks all out of place. I don't know. It just looks bad to me. Not a fan.
Well, you just made the list.
Yeah, I just made the list. How about Wes Briscoe?
Oh God,
Poor guy.
Change it.
Poor guy.
Oh my
I really,
God.
it's not like, I know he was in,
I feel like I shouldn't be looking at this. This is illegal.
like, he had to have been in the decision making of his own tattoos, right?
Drunk, one or the other.
He couldn't have, they couldn't have tattooed him against his will, but just those thigh tattoos, I
Ooh.
don't know why a guy would get thigh tattoos. It's kind of strange. How about Michael Cole's?
Oh, Jesus.
his
Those are
his
terrible.
random tattoos all over his body.
Ew.
Oh my gosh, this was not a good look for him.
Oh,
This
God,
is,
just change it.
I think he may be in the running for worst. I don't know.
Whoa.
One of our favorites, Scott Stein.
Oh, you fat bastard. Oh.
Yeah, these tattoos are not good. I like
And now he's
the
GM.
Michigan.
Now he owns
yeah.
his own Shoney's. He owns his own Shoney's in Georgia.
Shoney's.
Yes, he does. He's the GM. He owns his own Shoney's in Georgia.
His tattoos has got progressively worse over time. Started with the heart, and then he added the chain, and then he started adding the stuff, and it's
Welcome to Shoney's, you fat bastard.
yeah, it's not
Terrible,
good.
dude.
This one I hate to put up here.
Well, which one is it?
It's our boy Lance Hoyt
Oh, Lance.
and his tramp stamp. I don't.
He said it.
That's when I hate to put it up because I really like Lance. I think he could have been a top star. He probably still can. I don't know, but just that tattoo. What were you thinking, man? Why did you put handlebars above your ass?
Kidding. You're just
Why did you do that, Lance?
Come on, man.
Lance, we love you, but come on,
We
man.
don't want to love.
Poor guy. Poor guy. It's not much he can do. I mean, he can get it removed, but that's really expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know. He might have done him enough. All right, so now I think, and this, but there's somebody worse than Lance. If there's anything, if that makes you feel any better, and that's our girl Paige, who has just gotten these random tattoos all over her body. She's worse than Miley Cyrus with the tattoos. Okay, R.I.P. Drew McDonald. Okay, that's nice. Little tribute to whoever Drew McDonald's, but it looks like it was done by hand, and it looks like it was done quickly.
It looks like marker.
First of all, you don't need it that big. You really don't. You could have done it you could have done it a lot smaller, and you could have had it look a lot better. Plus, the font isn't even matched up.
No, it's not.
It's like it's all over. It looked like, I'm not convinced that just is not just like a marker. Like it's not
Paige,
being real.
I understand you can't wrestle anymore, and it sucks, but please stop doing that to yourself.
Yeah, she's got these little things all over her finger. I hate the finger tattoos on chicks.
Like the one with the mustache, when they have the mustache.
Oh, I hate them.
I hate
Not
that.
just on chicks, but anybody. Just with the finger tattoos.
Yeah.
They just look terrible. This, of course, is her Alberto tattoo. You know, she didn't get the memo that you should never get your lover's name tattooed on you.
That's why they're divorced, because she broke the rules.
Yeah.
She broke the law of tattoos.
It's actually one of her better looking tattoos, too. Then she's got this on her finger, which is just, like I said, the whole thing with the finger tattoos. But that's not even the worst offense. The worst offense is the one she got over the weekend, apparently. Talk shit, get bid. Why?
You know you can't show that.
First of all, who are you beating up? You're gonna die if somebody punches you.
If somebody even taps you in the back of the head, you're gone. It's over with.
Who's talking shit to you?
No kidding.
Besides, like,
Us.
trolls online, you know.
And she doesn't have to do this. I understand
Yeah.
you can't wrestle. You're angry at yourself, so you want to rebel. But don't do it like that.
So, Seth, are we both in agreement? Paige has got the worst tattoos.
Paige, I'm talking shit, so I guess I'm going to get bit.
Yes. Paige, congratulations. You have the worst tattoos
Jeez. Come on.
of any wrestler. And she's not even 25, or we think she might be 25.
no
She's
kidding.
real young.
Lewd, crude, and tattooed. That would have been her gimmick. Or Darkest Angel production.
All right. Oh! All right, Seth, we're going to get out of here. We only ran over 20 minutes this time. Tonight.
All right.
We want to thank everybody for watching, especially big thanks to Goldust.
Thank you, Goldust, for being here.
And big thanks to Mr. B.
Mr. B,
Appreciate
champ.
him being on the show tonight.
Can't wait to.
It was a great interview, too.
It was. I hope we get to actually see that show. I'd like to.
That would be cool. I got a comedy show the next day, so it's going to be real tricky.
Tricky.
This has been a Hot Air production. We are on the iRadio Waco network. If you're interested, I can't talk today. If you're interested and having your own podcast. I'm not saying it's going to be as professional as ours, but you can try.
You can try.
If you're interested in going from watching a podcast to having your own, and you live in the Waco area, this is a great opportunity. It harkens back to the days of what do they? Oh God, I just drew a blank.
News Talk Radio?
No. Of where you get to pay and you get to have your own show. Public access.
Public access. There you go. PBS.
Yes. Sorry, it must be late. I'm just
Man,
losing
this
my
guy
brain.
needs a hug.
Anyway, we'll talk to you later, guys. Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Mwah. iRadioWaco.com, Facebook. iRadio Waco, Facebook. Bye.